Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG55. Sam Chat is back in the house, ready to talk 70th anniversary. We had a great time at the 70th, did a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about Sam's experience, dive into that. He also finally wrote Tiana's Bayou Adventure. We're going to dip into that, no pun intended. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for watching this episode of OG55, and here we go. Welcome aboard, everybody, to the episode of OG55. I got Doors the Italiano and Mr. Sam Chat in the house. So, gentlemen, before we start, Sam, welcome back, sir. It's been way, way too long.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me back. I always love coming on here and chatting with the OG crew, and I'm always very thankful and happy each time I get to come on. And bonus, we're all on the West Coast.
Oh, dude, you know what I'm saying?
Woke up looking for the broccoli.
Yeah, you know when you say West Coast, I gotta drop, something. You know what I'm saying? But Sam, it's awesome having you on. If you let everybody home know where they can find you on social media, sir.
Absolutely. You can find me on SamChat21 on X, formerly known as Twitter. You can find me at samchat21.bsky.social over at Blue Sky. And you can also find me at all lowercase, no spaces, SamChat Productions on Instagram.
There he is. There he is. And George, the Italiano, welcome back. And where can everybody find you on social media, sir?
Absolutely. It's great to be back. And you can find me right here on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info. And you could also find me on my own YouTube channel, Citrico Central, sister channel to Orange Grove 55.
All right, gentlemen, let's dive into this. Now, we've done a couple videos on the 70th, but it's interesting. There was so much that happened on the 17th with the cavalcade, the Walt thing, the Walt speech, the animatronic, Small World, all that good stuff. Sam, what was your experience, man? Did it live up to the hype? Was it everything you were hoping for, or did they just not deliver? How do you feel about it?
Oh, overall, I thought it was a great celebration. And I thought July 17th was perfect. From the cavalcade to the night entertainment, I thought it was all perfect. And a huge shout out to all the Imagineers for bringing us creating amazing new additions and experiences for the 70th. And also a huge shout out to the cast members as well, working that day. To say the least, I bet that's not an easy day to work as a cast member.
Oh, absolutely.
July 17th. I was watching the cavalcade, the one where they played Walt's speech and sang Happy Birthday at Disneyland. I was kind of by the ice cream parlor when it happened, and it was just so busy. I got kind of overwhelmed. I just remember thinking, man, how did they do it? So thanks to the cast members, and thanks for also being extra patient with us diehards.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I echo your sentiment with the cast members. I mean, they do amazing work. It's not easy, and that's especially a rough day because it's busy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. One thing though, you brought the cavalcade, right? And I've been a real stickler over the years, like a douchey fanboy. I've always been real particular about the Walt speech, because that one year they didn't do it, and I was hot. Oh, yeah. I was mad about that. On the 17th, you got to do the Walt speech. You know what I'm saying? So I've been really kind of almost kind of angsty about it now. Oh man, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. They actually really delivered this year. They incorporated it into that cavalcade. So it wasn't just a one-time event at the flagpole. Now you heard Walt's speech all the way down Main Street, from Small World all the way to the front of the park, which is really cool. So we heard the Walt speech multiple times because that cavalcade would stop, play it, and they would allow everyone to sing Happy Birthday. So it really got the whole park involved in the Walt speech and the singing of Happy Birthday, which usually that's not the case. Usually it's more of a Main Street thing. Did you like that change, Sam, or did you? Oh
yeah, I did like it. It was nice that they had the it's just always great to hear the Walt speech played in Disneyland. I mean, he's Walt Disney, right? He's the man who made it all possible. You gotta have the speech.
Come on, you got to have the speech. George, what were your thoughts on that? The cavalcade in particular, how they handled that? Because we were kind of asking around, when is the speech? We didn't really know. And then we found out, well, you know what? They play it during the cavalcade. And I actually thought that was a cool idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I love when Sam said you got to have the cap. You know, you got to have the speech. It kind of reminded me of those '90s commercials. You know, those corn pop commercials that says "Got to have my pops." You know, that's what it was like. Gotta have the speech. Yeah. So it was very interesting because I remember a couple years ago. Well, actually, not a couple years ago. It was for the 65th anniversary where they kind of incorporated the same thing that they did this year, but the difference was they had the cavalcade, but if you weren't done on the like by where the flagpole was, you couldn't see the, sing happy birthday. They didn't have the Welch spiel and everything. So if you weren't down there, like you could see the cavalcade that was coming by, but you missed all the extra good stuff. So I loved how they did incorporate where they would stop, do the little spiel. They had Walt do his speech, everyone saying happy birthday on multiple levels. So they probably even did it near It's a Small World and Fantasyland as well. So they had to probably do it like a good 3, maybe 4 times, depending on the location, which I think that's great because I think everybody who wanted to experience it got to be involved with it and not like a small group of people. Now, as far as it was very busy, especially in the morning. But I will also say, I don't know, maybe it's just me because I got to experience the 17th and the 16th. I felt like it was a little bit more chaotic on the 16th, May 16th, when they kicked off the 70th, because I think that was just because that's when everything was like the grand boom of everything's opening, you brought Paint the Night back. And this is kind of a little bit, I'm just going to be a little negative Nancy here just for a little bit. This is where I wish that they would have just done everything on July 17th. And I get it. They like to try to get as much people as they possibly can, maybe for the summertime. But it also seems like the summertime is kind of like the back seat, if you will. Now people are starting to come during the holidays. And I know that they're trying to get, people out. But I would have just loved everything on July 17th because I feel like by them having the majority on May 16th, with bringing Wondrous back, Paint the Night, the New World of Color, I felt like it was kind of taking away its thunder from Disneyland's actual birthday.
Well, the thing for me though is I feel like these anniversaries, I feel like for example, the May, what was it, May 16th you said?
May 16th.
Okay, I forgot the date, but it was May 16th. I feel like that was for the normies. Like that's the kickoff for the normies, right? Like all the casuals are going to go in there, not theme park casual, but I mean the casual fans, right, are going to go in there and be like, I want to see Paint the Night again, and yada 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 and all that. I feel like July 17th has always been a little bit more of like a niche kind of nerdy market. So I was kind of okay with them splitting it up, but I can see what you're saying because I definitely did notice a lack of. Even in our space, in like the content creation space, like on that May 16th, we saw everybody. We ran into literally everybody, like Provost Park Pass, Hey Bricky, freaking Adam the Woo, Justin Scar, they were all there. Where we ran into a handful of people, like content creators on the 17th, but not nearly as many that were there. It felt a little bit more subdued. You're right. It wasn't as much of a must be kind of event like it was back in May,
Yeah.
So yeah. Did you kind of feel, well, now you didn't go for the 16th in May, right, Sam?
I did not. I was only there for the 17th and the 18th.
Oh, you're there. Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah. But it kind of makes sense though, right? Because sometimes because I think there's some schools that get out in May and start in early August. So sometimes some people start their vacations in the end of May. So I think it kind of makes sense, but I can also see where you're coming from too, where it's it's July 17th. It's the big day. Boom. You want to have all the good stuff on July 17th, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of interesting, right? One thing I am glad about is that they got rid of the music box thing in the Esplanade.
Oh, that was so creepy.
The music was bad. Like the actual structure is gorgeous. I actually really like the structure. I think that's cool. But that music that they played, remember? Well, I don't know if you were there. I don't know if you heard it.
I saw it online. It was so creepy. It kind of reminded me of that. I don't know if any of you played Five Nights at
It was
Freddy's.
Child's Play. It was Child's Play 2 soundtrack.
Right.
It also kind of reminded me of Five Nights at Freddy's right before Freddy Fazbear attacks you, like the jingle that they play.
Yeah,
I don't know if any of you
exactly.
played that, but it's kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, very creepy. It almost felt like Nightmare Before Christmas or something too. It was just this weird kind of spooky thing, but they got rid of that. Now it's back to normal, so that's good. But another thing I want to talk to you guys about now, George. You did see the Walt thing a couple times actually. Now,
Yes.
Sam, you didn't, or you did?
I saw the wall thing.
You saw the Walt thing. Okay, so I want to pick your brain, Sam. What did you think about it? Because this has been a hot topic in the community because a lot of people don't like the way he looks or sounds. What were your impressions of it after seeing it?
As far as the show itself, and I also loved like the expedition thing that was right before it. I thought it was really cool. I'm kind of bummed that that's temporary because it was like cool having all the old concept art. But like as far as the show goes, I actually really loved it. I thought it was really good. Is it perfect? No. Do I have nitpicks? Yes, I think every diehard Walt Disney fan is going to have nitpicks with the show and with the animatronic. But, honestly, in my opinion, I'm just happy it exists. Walt Disney means a lot to me. I remember in 4th grade writing a history report about Walt Disney, and I got an A+ on it. And my teacher used my report as an example. So I always loved studying Walt Disney. And, I'm just happy it exists. And I'm also just thankful that I got to experience it on July 17th, even if it isn't perfect. And as far as the face goes, I know there's a lot of people that complain about like the face online and how like the cheeks are a little too like puffy and like the eyebrows are a little too bushy. But like when you see it in person, like you're so far away from it, like you can't really tell. Like when I was there, I couldn't really even like see the face because I was like still kind of far away. You know what I'm saying?
Like I was like middle or like full back.
Yeah, I was like in like the middle of the theater, kind of. Even from like the middle row, you can't really tell about the face. But like the animatronic is still amazing. Like it still has such fluid motions and whatnot. Like it still looks really good in person, even if the face is like just okay.
Yeah, and this show is made for, and this is one thing I brought up, where this show was designed to be seen in the theater, and you're not going to be like right up against the guy's face like in the theater, obviously, right? Where that's why I felt it was a little unfair. Like some of the debates on social media, like Instagram or wherever, it was very much like these people would like take pictures, like zoom in on his face, and then be like, "See, he doesn't look right." Well, it's like they have to create this animatronic to look good from further back. So some of the features might even be exaggerated. So when you're further back, you still notice them. Like, that's a thing. And so when you zoom in with your camera lens and you show that, it's not a real portrayal of the actual experience. I thought that was kind of unfair with,
exactly.
And I don't think that animatronic is perfect, but I thought that was an unfair kind of thing that I've seen a lot of people do on social media. Go ahead, George.
Well, also too, like when anyone kind of like takes a face, like even a real face, not an audio animatronic, and we talk, we have expression. That's what they're trying to convey to give these audio animatronics expression. If I'm talking right now and I make like a certain face, if someone were to take a picture of me while I'm mid-sentence, my face is going to look all wonky.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'm talking mid-sentence. So if someone is snapping a picture while the Walt animatronic is in expression, it's going to look weird. But that's the realism of it, though. Right. And Sam, I have to say, I think it's funny that you mentioned that you did a report on Walt Disney. I, too, in 9th grade, did a report on Walt Disney. It was more like as if I was presenting Walt Disney, like, or a person like that was going to come. Like, so it was basically kind of like an opening speech. So each person, whoever got up there, got to pick. They could do Walt Disney, they could do Abraham Lincoln, they could do George Washington, they could do Albert Einstein. And sure enough, I got Walt Disney, although I did push everybody out of my way to get that one. But it's interesting because I got to see the show 3 times. I saw it like mid-back, and then I saw the other 2 times literally front row center. I purposely did front row center, and which a lot of people don't know is when you go into the Opera House, if there are people already waiting in line and you see like the artifacts from the archives and what have you, you don't have to go into that particular show. You can hold back and wait for the next show, and then you can get in line if you want a better chance for a better seat. So I want to throw that out too. Sam, I do agree with you. I wish that it wasn't limited with all the stuff from the archives. I think it's
I know.
awesome.
So cool.
It builds up that anticipation of everything that Walt worked on, and
Right.
then you're going to go and see the show. I kind of hope what they do is they rotate things out, so that way it's like they're not actually keeping it there in Disneyland. It can go back to the Walt Disney Family Museum. It can go back to the archives, but then maybe swap some stuff out. But what I've noticed is, because I recorded the first time in the show when I was like mid-center back, when I would look at him through my own eyes, it looked completely different than through the optic lens of a camera. For some reason, I don't know if it was the lighting that was coming through into the lens. It just looked much different than when you actually saw it through your visual eyes.
Right.
Then when I got down to the front row, he actually looked much better than if you were further back, believe it or not, because you get to see the mouth movements, you get to see the more fluid movements, and you actually also get to see the twinkle in his eye. It is there.
There we go. Now, I was watching a content creator probably at Disney, and I think she had a fantastic idea for the Walt animatronic that after she mentioned it, I was like, you know what? Yeah, Disney dropped the ball on this. At the very end, the finale with the stars with Mickey, her suggestion was it should have been Tinkerbell, like the old, like when Walt was in the studio, like Wonderful World of Color, and Tinkerbell would fly in the office and he would dust off the pixie dust right off his shoulder and all that. It should have been like a classic Tinkerbell or something come in there. Tinkerbell and Walt are like kind of synonymous. We used to see a lot of that on TV with them, and she introduced the World of Color with the ding, right? Mm-hmm. That would have been the perfect way to have that finale, I think. Another critique I have is the Bob Iger stuff. He talks in the beginning, right?
Yes, that is one issue I kind of have with it as well.
Because it's going to date, because I'm assuming this thing is going to be here for decades and decades. Why do we have the current CEO who's basically on his way out, like literally lame duck CEO at this point, where they're literally looking for a new one right now to replace him? So we're going to have Bob Iger like doing this, right?
Maybe he wanted. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead, Sam.
Oh, real quick. I was just going to say, maybe he thought like, oh, well, this thing's going to be here for decades. If I include my voice in it, maybe my voice will be.
Oh, you're absolutely 100,000.
I bet that was his mindset.
I actually went to, the second time I saw it was a D23 event. So we got to hear like some Imagineers, Becky Klein from the Walt Disney Archive. She came out. They were talking about it before we got an extra showing of the Walt show. And I loved how they were like, the Imagineers were saying, oh, we approached Iger and he was so elated to do this. And I'm thinking, I don't think so. I guarantee you Iger went to them and was like, you know what? I'm putting my imprint on this. This is going to last with me, with Walt, with Disneyland for all eternity. Yeah. I could tell you that. But the thing is, and all joking aside, it's not that Iger didn't do the narration well. He did. But it just felt like it was just reading from the script. I felt like because the one man's dream kind of segment of the show, which was also done at Hollywood Studios, they had the narration of Julie Andrews. When you have a performer or an actor or an actress read something, it just rolls off the tongue very well because they're so used to reading scripts and reading dialogue that it just felt a little bit dry when Iger did it. I would have had somebody more familiar with the Disney name that's more of like a performer or an actor or something.
Yeah, and I would have had somebody that was more connected to the creative part of it. Like Julie Andrews would have been perfect. That's who narrated the 50th fireworks show. It was amazing. She would have been a great pick. Oh, yeah. If we still had Richard alive, I mean, he would have been perfect, right? Mm-hmm. Anyone connected to like that Disney history like that, I think would have been a cool pick. Dick Van Dyke would have been awesome.
Oh yeah, he's 98 now.
He's 98.
And that was a missed opportunity because when we went to the D23, they started the whole process for the show July 17th of 2018. 7 years. Oh, really? 7 years to the day when it actually officially opened. So I'm thinking, 7 years, they could have got Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
They could have got Dick Van Dyke. Hell, they could have had Angela Lansbury.
Yeah.
Like, they
No,
could have got anybody. Like, why would you not like set that up? If you see all these great seasoned Disney legends and they're up in their age and you don't know how long they're going to be with us, get their audio while you can get it.
Yeah, no, I agree, and and I got nothing against Bob Iger. I mean, I think that he's done a lot of good things for the company. I mean, honestly, like I don't. A lot of people demonize him, and I think he has his issues, believe me. But for the most part, I think he's done a good job. But that he just wasn't the right pick for that show. It should have been Julie Andrews. Angela Lansbury is another great one. Dick Van Dyke would have been perfect. Richard Sherman would have been amazing. I mean, countless. I mean, Jodie Benson. I mean, even though she had no like direct connection to Walt, really. I mean, at least she played a part in revitalizing animation, which hence,
or maybe even Bob Gurr. They could have done Bob Gurr because he was...
Bob Gurr. Yeah, exactly. There's so many options you could have with that. So that was a missed opportunity. I think for sure.
But really quick, OG, to your point of what you were saying about probably at Disney with her idea with Tinkerbell. Now, I remember saying this several shows back. Actually, I think it was even before the 16th, if I'm not mistaken. But they can still do different things with this show. They don't always necessarily need to keep it like this forever. Yeah. They can change out Walt's dialogue. Yeah, maybe they can do like during Christmas time, the 1 Hour in Wonderland special. They could take audio footage from that.
Yeah, I love that.
During Christmas time, and then maybe they can do the Tinkerbell thing. Maybe when he was introducing Peter Pan, it would be so awesome if they had a Tinkerbell come out and put pixie dust on him and he levitates and then he goes like this to come back down.
Oh man. Actually, you know what, guys? I actually have the perfect graphic for that finale scene. Here we go.
Welcome to Orange Grove 55.
Well, of course, you got to add your own input.
Absolutely.
And Bob Iger made his speech, and he said Orange Groves. I was like, oh, he said the word.
Yes, he did. He gave us a shout out, you guys. He gave us a shout out. You know what I'm saying? Another thing that bothered me about not the show, but Disney's handling of the show is having it premiere in Florida as well. This is Disneyland's birthday, and to have it premiere on both coasts it takes away, I think, from it being a Disneyland 70th thing.
Wait, I'm sorry. You mean it's a small world?
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the small world thing. I do apologize. Not for this one. My brain short-circuited.
I'm sorry. Real quick, since we're on the subject of Bob Iger, I'm no corporate show, but make sure you guys go buy Bob Iger The Ride of a Lifetime.
Absolutely, I love it, Sam. Absolutely, buy it today. But yeah, no. In regards to the small world thing, and we'll pivot now to small world. But that was one thing for me that really bothered me with how the way Disney handled that. I think they could have waited. I mean, really, all you had to do. I mean, October 1st, just a couple months away, is Walt Disney World's birthday. You know what I'm saying? You could have waited for that. I don't know. It just kind of took the impact away. Before we dive into the actual last verse and everything, what were your thoughts on that, Sam?
Yeah, I could see that, but I can see that. I think they were just worried because there are a lot of Disney fans too on like the East Coast that couldn't be at Disneyland, so maybe they wanted to have something for the Disney World locals to join in on the fun. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but like I could see what you're saying though. Like it would have been nice if for at least like maybe heck, it could have even been like a week, like just keep it a Disneyland exclusive just for like at least a week or a month. Right, exactly. That was one thing that bugged me.
They utilized that to put towards the 70th. I think if they were just going to do it like osmosisly, like I know that's not even a word, but that's my own terminology, like out of osmosis, that they were to just do it and say, oh yeah, we're going to add the last verse in there just on a regular day, then do Disneyland and Walt Disney World. But when you're actually going to premiere it and you're going to market it for the 70th and in honor of Richard's passing, it was the last thing that he did for the company, and to honor him and to honor the song, the ride that he did with his brother, because he actually wrote that last verse on the 60th anniversary of the ride back in 2023.
Yeah.
So when they first wrote the song. So there was just like that special connection and nostalgia that they should have just kept it at Disneyland. And I agree, like October 1st is right around the corner. Like, let it build up the hype. Let the people on the East Coast say, oh man, I wish we can get that. But then make the announcement and say, yep, October 1st, Magic Kingdom's birthday. You guys are going to get it too. Let it build up, and I get it. It's like those small things that it's just like, it really shouldn't matter. But for us Disney nerds, it's like, come on, like if we could think of it, they could think of it too.
Well, it just seems disrespectful to me.
Yeah. Oh, so y'all ain't gonna let nobody disrespect the West Coast, huh?
You know what I'm saying? It just seems disrespectful to the West Coast. You could have waited, like SamChat was saying, even a week, even a day. My God, even if they dropped it on the 18th at Disney World, it would have been better. But SamChat, what are your thoughts on the last verse? Did you like it? Did you love it? Didn't care? Right? Neutral? What were your vibe on it?
Well, actually, real quickly, I thought it was cool how they updated like the Tapestry of Magic show to include the new verse like the day of July 17th. From my understanding, it was like the original verse, and then they updated on July 17th with
the Tapestry of Happiness.
Yeah, it was like the projection show they had on Small World. It was cool.
I'm gonna have to check that out because I recorded it on the 16th. So they added the last verse actually into that as well.
I'm pretty sure they did, because I remember on July 17th, I was over there at night and I remember hearing the new verse and I was like, oh, that's cool. They updated it.
Okay. I did not know that happened, because I love that Tapestry of Happiness. That was really like kind of like the sleeper hit for me. That projection show is amazing. So they added the lost verse on that. That's cool.
Verse right there. It was cool.
I would love for them to keep that. That shouldn't just have to be during an anniversary or for this year. Like, that should just be a sum up of what Disneyland is, what Disneyland means to us on an everyday basis. So I think honestly they should just keep that projected on It's a Small World and just leave it at that. Yeah, no, I completely agree. But the verse itself, obviously it's Richard Sherman, right? It's amazing. But like, what did you think about it? Like how it was incorporated into the ride?
I actually really liked the way they incorporated it. And I thought it was integrated perfectly to the point where it felt like it was always there for me.
Yes.
So like, for example, right? Like Pinocchio's Daring Adventure wasn't an opening day ride, but like when they redid Fantasyland in the early 1980s, the way they integrated it into the land, it felt like it was always there and it was always like a part of it. Or you can even say the same for like Buena Vista Street, right? Like before it was Sunshine Plaza or whatever it was called.
The worst.
Like they redid it as Buena Vista Street, and now it's like it felt like it was always there. It was always a part of DCA, and you can't imagine the DCA experience without it. It honestly feels a lot like that. Like it just, the way they integrated it, it felt like it was always there.
Yeah, no, well said. And you said experience. You ever heard of the OG55 experience, Sam? But
awesome.
Yeah, but no, I agree with you. I told George that. I said they almost put it in there almost like in such a way that like if I didn't know it was a new verse, I might have missed it. Like, because it was so seamless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what were your thoughts on it, George?
Yeah, for me, I agree. It fit in so well that it was seamless, that it just flowed very well with the rest of the song. My only small critique, and there's really nothing more that they really can do with it. Yeah, it is what it is, but I'm just going to just throw it out there. That it feels like that being that they just had it in the last scene, which again, I know that they couldn't incorporate it in every room because it would have completely thrown off the timing of the ride itself. But I just wish that we had a little bit more time with that final verse. Like, it feels like by the time that we got to it, we were on our way out, and it's like, wait a minute. I wanted to hear it a couple more times. Like, I would, it was just like, it was so quick. And I wish that they incorporated it of how they did in the final room. And then on your way out of the tunnel, have just one child sing it in the ballad form. And then boom, you go back outside. So that way you get both renditions of it where it's incorporated, kind of embedded within the song itself, and then to wrap it all up, to kind of like end the song, because it was always a never-ending song. It just kept on going and going and going on repeat and repeat. But I thought it would be really cool if they had just one child sing it at ballad form in the tunnel when it's saying like goodbye in how many different languages, and then that's how it ends. Sort of like how they did in the like the teaser trailer for the new verse that they showed us at D23 during Richard's kind of memorial presentation. And then also you can watch that same trailer in the Main Street Cinema on Main Street as well.
Yeah. Now, what do you think, Sam, about George's idea about having just one doll at the finale sing?
Like just have one doll singing the final verse.
Yeah.
Like in the final room, have it sing the way they did, which I thought they did really well. And then when you go through the tunnel where it's saying like goodbye, Auf Wiedersehen, all that,
cards and whatnot.
In that tunnel, have one child sing it in ballad form. And then as the child goes, it's a small world after all. Boom, you go. You're out. You're outside and you're ready to go like back into the...
I like that. That's a cool idea. And like maybe they could even have like a tiny doll that's like the Sherman brother. Like the two tiny dolls are like Sherman brothers playing the piano or something while...
Yeah, that would be
fun. Of course, respectfully, but like...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like your idea, George. It's cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the 70th overall, I think it was a great celebration. I mean, we're still in it, but the 17th itself, was a great birthday. I think overall Disney handled it really well. I think this celebration has been one of the better ones. I mean, honestly, Paint the Night, the Walt animatronic, the last verse in Small World. I think even the decor, I've been really enjoying the decor. It's really like a fun party vibe. It's not taking itself like super serious. Like if you remember like the old school, like the 10th Centennial with Walt, like the 10th anniversary of Disneyland, he had fun with that birthday. He had literally girls like in giant cake costumes, like dancing around by the castle. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like in high heels and a giant cake costume.
I had that for my 21st birthday.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That was good. Exactly. And so it's like, and we're cake people here. We don't make no bones about it. We love our cake, but I mean, I think it's kind of fun to kind of bring that fun factor back. That was one of my biggest complaints. I know a lot of people are going to give me shit for this, but it's how I feel. The 60th was cool. I liked the fireworks show. I think there was Paint the Night premiered on the 60th. But one of the things I think that it kind of went a little too heavy on was like the mystique of a man with a vision. Right? That's cool, but there was never any like fun though. It was very like it took it very seriously. Where this celebration feels more like a party to me. You know what I'm saying? Am I wrong for that, or did you guys kind of get that vibe as well?
No, you definitely got that vibe, especially when you put the 70th right next to the 60th. You get you get that fun party. The song from the Jonas Brothers. I'm sorry, that song. I think now that song is like number 2 ingrained in my head after It's a Small World. It's like after you hear that song, it just gets stuck, and you're just like celebrate, happy. You're just like it was a fun time. But yeah, going back and looking at the 60th, it's like it was very sophisticated.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, it was a different kind of vibe, But Sam,
like a more emotional kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like supposed to evoke all this emotion, Oh my God, 60 years at Disneyland.
Yeah. No, exactly. I will say
like this party.
Yeah, it's a party. We're just celebrating, I did like the 60th fireworks when they projection mapped all the orange groves down Main Street. I thought that was an awesome, no bias, of course, but like I thought that was really, really cool to kind of pay homage to what Disneyland was built on, which I thought was really, really cool.
Yes, but don't give me that bullshit. That was completely biased.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Welcome to Orange Grove 55.
No. I still have to say, like, throughout the years of like after joining on to this channel and everything, I loved all your intros and outros, but I still have to say though that one is like top notch for me. I don't know why.
That one was interesting. The one that I have, the one that I have right now, the da 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 da, that one. That same dude, it's a Fiverr artist, right? That same guy, I told him, can you, because that the one I have now is kind of like 80s style, right? But I told him, can you do 1950s? And can you kind of do like the Tinkerbell thing? And like, he's like, I could try. I'm like, dude, crushed it. You know what I'm saying? And then there on Fiverr as well, there was a guy who did Disney voiceovers, like that classic 90s, like, you know, and now our special presentation, like, you know, one of those kind of voices. I reached out to him and he did the audio for us. So I'm like, okay, it was pretty cool. You know, I probably should use it more, being that I spent like $200 on it. So all these different artists and voiceover people were involved in it. But Sam, I wanted to ask you, you finally rode Tiana's this past weekend. What did you think?
What did I think? You know, for me personally, regardless of whether it's Tiana's or Splash Mountain, I'm always going to be terrified of the final drop. Like, that drop is tall. It's scary. I don't know. Like, that's like the only ride at Disneyland that I'm actually scared of.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, have you gone on Splash Mountain down at Walt Disney World?
Okay, so it was my lifelong childhood dream to experience the Orlando version of Splash Mountain at least once, but it closed before I ever got the chance to visit it.
Okay. So, like, and the reason why I ask is because the way those logs are, you're more restrained, so to speak. So you have like the side-by-side seating instead of front to back, and you have a bar that comes down. So you still have like the logs at Disneyland, you're just like sitting like free roam, and you just have like the sidebars that you're holding like this, and you're just like praying to God, okay, am I going to stay in this thing? Like, you know, but
yeah, it's scary.
You understand like how loosely it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. But I actually really like Tiana's. I think they did a good job on it. I haven't been on the Florida version of it, but I actually really like it. I think it's well done. I think the music in that movie, and the music, even the new song, the special spice song at the end, is a banger, an absolute banger. I think it's done well. I think they did exactly what they needed to do. I think my only complaint with Tiana's is I would have liked to have Dr. Facilier in there. That would have been super dope to have that the magic and all that stuff. But you know, it is what it is. But overall, you enjoyed it, Sam?
Yeah, actually, I really enjoyed it. As far as storytelling and theming goes, I would say it's superior to Splash Mountain, in my opinion. If I did have a suggestion for improvement, I wish I had a couple more nods to classic Disney attractions. So, like, I don't know if you remember the Rufus the Bear audio that was played on Splash Mountain before the first drop.
Yeah,
that audio was used before Splash Mountain opened in Bear Country in the 70s. So I think it'd be fun if they found a way to incorporate that. I think it also would have been cool if they had one or two animatronics that were both America Sings and Splash Mountain be put into Tiana somewhere. I think that would have been a fun nod as well. Yeah, I think it would have been cool. But I think overall, yeah, I'd say it was a superior retheme to, superior retheme. But I'm just bummed we lost the anthropomorphic, weird-ass chicken-looking things. You know what I'm talking about? The chickens that were on the boat that had their eyes closed and like the weird.
Oh yeah. We lost all of them.
Yeah, we lost the
I just
weird
wish
ass
that they
chickens.
would have just kept it Splash Mountain, like the name, like because Splash Mountain really didn't really have anything to do with like the connection of Song of the South.
Well, it's the dip at the end where that's the splash. So, but you do the dip at the end with Tiana, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and really, Splash Mountain was named after because Eisner wanted to promote the movie Splash with Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah. So that even had like no relevance to anything. So he said, let's just call it Splash Mountain because it cuts into what they used to call like the Magic Kingdom mountain range, Space Thunder and Splash. So now it throws it off there. I mean, it's still cool to, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, but I mean, technically they still could have called it Splash Mountain and still have it themed to Princess and
Splash Mountain too is such an iconic name. Like, you tell someone the word Splash Mountain and they knew what you were talking about, the log flume ride at Disneyland or Disney World. I was watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine and they were talking. They made a funny joke. They were like, "Oh, we're going to Disney World," and then Jake Peralta was like, "Oh, we're doing Splash Mountain."
You know, it's wild to me.
Name.
It is an iconic name. What's surprising to me though is I thought it would take me a lot longer to get used to calling it Tiana's than it has. That's one thing I'm surprised. Because I was thinking, oh, how am I ever going to get used to this? I kind of got used to it pretty fast. I don't know. Is that kind of like your guys's?
It was for me, but you know what's surprising? It hasn't been for the normies.
That's interesting.
That's even the weirder thing. Because when I'm in the park, I'm hearing people say, "Oh, we got to get our lightning lane for Splash Mountain." Like they still to this day call it Splash Mountain, and they're normies. And how I know that they're normies because that same family called the Haunted Mansion the Haunted House.
Yeah.
And a Disney diehard is not going to call the Haunted Mansion a haunted house.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God. Why did they even let them in the park, George? I mean,
Exactly.
Come on. Like, how can you do that? You know?
I was like, literally, they were saying it behind me. I was like, literally ready to phone in security. Like,
Come and get them. Come and get them right now. But yeah, Tiana's is a great attraction. I'm happy with it. I think
but I
also
do agree with you though. I do agree with you of how quickly that I could just like automatically say, oh, let's go on Tiana's. I want to go on Tiana's. Like I thought it would have been a much longer transition to say, oh, it's not Splash anymore. I gotta start calling it Tiana's. It was fairly quick.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It caught on quicker than I was expecting. So, and I really like what they did with the queue. They kind of cleaned that up and they organized it better.
Mm-hmm.
At the outside part, I think that was really well done. So yeah, I mean, it's I'm glad you finally got to ride it, Sam. Now, you're not in Southern California?
I'm close to Southern California. Yeah. So I'm in like the Southern. Actually, no, I'm in the Southern California area.
Oh, you are? Okay, I didn't know. And how do you go? You don't go though very often because you just went on Tiana. So
yeah, I go once a year. Sometimes if I'm lucky twice, but usually once. Okay.
That's not too bad. When I was younger, that's what I used to do. Like my family and I would go like on my birthday, or we'd go like for the holidays or something. But it wasn't until kind of like the early 2000s when the annual pass culture really got heavy that I started to go a lot more. But like back in the day, I used to do like once a year, and it was like an event. You stayed for the whole weekend at the hotel or something.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, when I was a kid, actually, my dad and I were annual pass holders. For like a little bit in like the late 2000s, early 2010s. But then like right before Cars Land opened, like the annual pass prices completely skyrocketed. Like they skyrocketed. It got so expensive. So then we discontinued. But yeah, I was annual pass holder in the early 2010s, late 2000s. It was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we'll see. We're probably going to get another huge hike when this Pandora thing opens, I'm sure. So
yeah, it's James Cameron. You gotta please James, right?
You gotta please James. That $1 billion land ain't gonna pay for itself, Sam. You know what I'm saying? You gotta.
It's gonna take a lot of money to make.
Oh, a lot of money. Hold on, you said it. Here we go. Man, we haven't had a money drop in forever. That was a good one. That felt good. I felt. Hold on, we got one more.
Brand new money, brand new hundreds, got a bunch of zeros like a bag of new Funyuns.
I figure we haven't done money drops in forever. We got, I had to drop 2 of them today. So, but yeah, really good stuff, you guys. Sam, before we go, any final thoughts on Tiana's?
Yeah, I loved it. Did you guys see Wondrous Journeys?
I have seen that. I seen that
for the first time. Oh, it was so good.
You've seen it for the first time. What'd you think of it?
It was so good. I just loved it. Like I was worried at first that like they were going to kind of shoehorn like the different IP in there, but like I thought it was all done very well. I love like the scene where like they edited like the Moana music and like the Hercules, Quasimodo music into like one.
You know what my favorite scene is, and it's probably so redundant. It's at the very end.
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh. Yes.
No, I love the Pooh thing. I agree, George. That was a beautiful, actually a legitimately beautiful moment. I also love how I agree with you, Sam, how they're not just taking, okay, we're going to watch, a minute and a half of Tangled and then a minute and a half of The Little Mermaid. They integrated all these movies together. And sometimes you'll have a character on that castle and the song is a completely different movie. It'll be Hunchback, but Little Mermaid's on the castle or something. And I like how they weaved all that in. It didn't feel very clipped. You know what I'm saying? Christopher Lenertz did an amazing job. He's a songwriter for that. I mean, an incredible job with the music. I love how they handle the projections. Just really good stuff. Very Broadway feeling though, the way the songs kind of interrupt each other, right? And all that. Very interesting stuff, but a gorgeous show. That was your first time though, huh? Wow.
Yeah. And then right before I saw Paint the Night, and I got kind of emotional because that was the first time I had seen it in 10 years. It's like, it was just cool seeing Paint the Night again as well. Like the second they started that soundtrack, you know, switch on the sky and the stars glow for you.
Oh, dude,
The second they start playing that, I just got kind of emotional because I realized, you know, how influential it was on me as like a kid and like my imagination. So like, it was cool seeing that again. Made me happy.
Yeah, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you now?
I am 22.
Okay, so you were young. You were only like 12 years old.
Yeah, I was a youngin.
Okay. So yeah, that was part of your childhood and stuff. That's cool, man.
Yeah,
But you know what? One of my favorite moments was during like around for the 70th this past weekend is me being in the Westin Hotel and hearing my name being called out, and I turned and I see Mr. SamChat walking towards me, and I thought, out of all the hotels that I could be standing in right now, and you were just messaging me, little did you not know that I was in the same hotel, like standing there in the lobby.
I know, it was so funny. I saw, actually, when I was parking, I saw you walking, like leaving the parking lot, and I was thinking, holy shit, is that George? I was like, and then I was like, oh, maybe when I'm in the lobby, I'll see him. So then I was in the lobby and I messaged you on Instagram, and I was like, oh, I saw a guy that looked just like you. And then I see you and I'm like, oh my God.
It's George.
It's George.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. The Westin is a gorgeous hotel. I stayed there back in January. I absolutely loved it. It's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. Mm-hmm. So, and the walk isn't too bad either. Like, did you and your fam just walk it, or
we just kind of walked it? It was only like 5-10 minutes. It was not far away at all.
No, it wasn't bad at all. Look at Sam, dude, baller, man. Westin and everything, huh? Hold on, that deserves a money drop.
Brand new money, brand new hundreds, got a bunch of zeros like a bag of new Funyuns.
There we go. But yeah, no, it's a great hotel. It's beautiful. Now, George, you actually watched the fireworks from the rooftop with our friend Marjorie and Abby. How was that? Like, for your, did they pipe the music in, or what was that experience like? So,
unfortunately, they didn't pipe the music in. I think it would have been really cool if they could have. I think if Disney was affiliated with them, they might have done that. So I kind of had this idea that they weren't going to. I just wanted to get a different perspective of actually seeing it from a rooftop, at a hotel. Because I know our friend Sean, Ranking the Mouse, has seen the fireworks at the Legacy at the Park Hotel. And he said it was phenomenal. So I thought, okay, this can kind of give me an opportunity to kind of see that. I loved watching it from that perspective, because when you see the fireworks, when you're down on ground level, you're looking up, or you're looking like in multiple directions. When you're on top of a roof and you're basically kind of eye to eye with the fireworks, it just gives off a completely different sensation. But I will say the only thing that I wish that they did have was, I wish that they would have piped in the music. But as far as seeing the fireworks in a different perspective, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, the piping of the music is probably tough. They probably have to work that out with Disney, but they could charge, like, they can make some. Westin and Disney could make big money if they were to do that. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah. Actually, one time we stayed at the Sheraton, and I was like really young, and you could see like World of Color from like our balcony. And like, I had my phone out and I was like waiting for the exact moment the show would start. And I had like the show on YouTube. So like the second it would start, oh, hit play.
That's awesome.
On YouTube. Yeah,
Smart.
It's actually
speaking
really
of
cool.
World of Color, did you see the new World of Color?
I did see World of Color happen.
Okay, what's your overall thoughts on that?
George, I did not like it.
Thank you.
I loved it. It was great.
Oh, he loved it. He loved it.
Thank you, George.
You got him.
But to be fair, that was really good, but really bad at the same time.
Because you were like, "Oh, he agrees with me," and then he's like, "I loved it."
I'm like, "Oh, dang, shut it out." But to be fair, I only seen it one time, and the one time that we did see it, they put us in the most inconvenience. I mean, we're OG in the Italiano. You put our asses all the way down at the front where we get the VIP red carpet. Like, they put us like on the steps where it was like angled, where we saw heads like above us. Even like when the water would come up, the heads would be blocking the screens. I don't know, like if you had any of that kind of experience, but it felt like just in that moment it wasn't for me. However, I absolutely loved the Muppets pre-show.
Yeah,
The Muppets pre-show was awesome. But I am willing to give the World of Color Happiness another chance, but I want to see it in a much better viewpoint. I also do know that they have these scanned barcodes out during the day, and you could vote on your favorite emotion. And if the highest number emotion that gets for the day, they will be spotlighted in the show that evening.
Yeah, I heard that too. So it's interesting. Yeah, I gotta see it again. I only saw it once. I love the Muppet pre-show. That was my favorite part of it. Legal Beagle and all that stuff was awesome. Or was it Legal Beagle? What was that?
Like the Beaver guy, right, or whatever.
Beaver, yeah, I like that guy. Or was he? What was he? A beaver or otter or something? I don't know.
He was an otter. I think it was an otter.
It was an otter. Okay.
Yeah.
But I love that show. I thought it was fantastic. I could have just had that, and I would have been satisfied. I thought they handled that beautifully. You know what I'm saying? So,
and of course, Boys the Men singing Rainbow Connection. I mean, you can't go wrong even with that.
Oh yeah, and that show fits really well in World of Color because it's like World of Color and then rainbows. I don't know. I thought that song fits really well in World of Color.
I agree, Sam. I agree. Even when like the regular version comes back, hopefully. They should incorporate that song into the regular version, because I think you're right with the rainbow and all that stuff. I think it works beautifully with the general theme. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Also, I really like the Wish scene. Like, I know like not everyone loved like the Wish movie with like Asha, but like I thought like the way that it was executed, it feels like they like purposely wrote that song so that they could use it in Nighttime Spectacular. Because I thought like the way they had all the stars was really cool too.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because it seems like Disney is really trying to bring back Wish. That the fact that it didn't do so well like in the theaters and everything, but it did very well on Disney Plus. You know, they're now incorporating it in World of Color. They also have a float down for Starlight down at Magic Kingdom. So I think that they're trying to integrate, you know, Wish and, as you said, like Asha, like back into the Disney. And honestly, I'm cool with that, because not every movie has to be a big box office success. I mean, Princess and the Frog wasn't, you know, and yet they slowly integrated Tiana and Naveen into the parades. Now Tiana has her own ride. So I see Asha kind of going through that same way.
Yeah, and that's why you have the flywheel. That's why Disney. That's the genius of the Disney flywheel is that a movie could theoretically flop at the box office and still make money and still stay relevant for years to come through other means. You know, through you know, the parks and streaming and the cruise lines, all this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Even like Alice in Wonderland in the 1950s was a flop when it first came out, but then like in the 70s, kind of after Walt Disney passed away, it sort of got a second life, because then people were like, oh, this is kind of eerie and cool, you know?
Yeah, well, I think there's probably other reasons why in the 70s, you know what I'm saying? People were
the 70s.
little psychedelic, you know? But yeah, no, you're absolutely right though, Sam. You know, Alice in Wonderland is like so synonymous with the Disney company in general. She's an icon of Disney in a lot of ways, you know?
Yeah, even Pinocchio and Fantasia were both flops, and those two movies are like the face of Disney, especially Fantasia.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Fantasmic, we wouldn't have that without Fantasia because of the Sorcerer Mickey and all that. George brought it up, and he's absolutely right. With Pinocchio, When You Wish Upon a Star is like the anthem for the entire company.
Yeah.
You know, so it's pretty crazy.
Real quickly, since we're talking about When You Wish Upon a Star, like, I don't know, in like the show, like when Walt Disney Fish is talking, they play When You Wish Upon a Star, and it's like the Cliff Edwards arrangement. It was cute, but I feel like Tuppence a Bag would have fit the ending scene just a little more. Like, because Walt liked Tuppence a Bag, you know, like that was one of his favorites, right? Like he loved it when the Sherman Brothers played that for him.
Feed the Birds.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I knew what you meant though. That is very true. That is very true. Like, I'm surprised that they didn't like even have it like as a background kind of like melody, even when he's talking, like just have it like faintly playing where we have to try to figure out. That is very true. I didn't think of them doing anything with Feed the Birds because that was really his favorite Sherman Brothers song.
Yeah.
And even like in Once Upon a Studio, it was so cool how like less than a year before Richard Sherman passed away, he played Tuppence a Bag for Feed the Birds for the Once Upon a Studio short.
That was cool. Very, very cool. Well, Sam, it's always awesome having you on, brother. We'll have you on again very, very soon. I still want to sit down with you and talk about your Walt Disney World trip, because I think there's a lot of
about that.
Yes, we definitely have to. So we'll do that soon. But if you can remind everybody where they can find you on social media.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again for having me on. I always love coming on. And you can find me on SamChat21 on X, formerly known as Twitter, which I really should abandon that app. It's not a good app. No. But
yeah, I haven't been on there in I don't go on anymore. I haven't logged in a long time. I haven't posted in months. I just hated X. It was just like such a cesspool of just everything.
Like, I just feel like everyone on X is just kind of toxic, you know, like everyone's like, I don't know, man. It's
horrible. I went to Instagram. It's like, you know, that Instagram is like pretty harmless overall. It's a bunch of dog reels and stuff, you know. It's cool, you know. But yeah, X, I don't miss it at all. But you know, I kept my account because I don't want, because if you deactivate your account, someone else can use it like right away. So yeah, so I'm leaving it, but I'm just not using it. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. Yeah. No, yeah. Screw X. And you can also find me on Instagram at SamChat Productions, which I am president, founder, and CEO of. And you can also find me at samchat.bsky.social over at Blue Sky.
There he is. Go follow him on all his socials. And George the Italiano, where can people find you on social media?
Absolutely. You can find me right here on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner. All that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info. And you could also find me on my new YouTube channel, Citrico Central, sister channel to Orange Grove 55.
There he is. Everybody comment down below with all your thoughts on the 70th, the Walt animatronic, Richard Sherman's last Small World verse. Even Tiana's, you know, it's been open for a little while, but what are your thoughts on that? If you're new to the channel, we've been getting a lot of subscribers lately. If you're new to the channel and you haven't chimed in on your thoughts about that, comment down below. We would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching this episode of OG50.
Don't forget to subscribe to OG55 and become a member today.